Indie News Network member, The Dissident. And this is not the piece that went crazy with Hassan. This is a piece that he wrote earlier in the week about how social media is being used as a tool of empire. Okay, gotcha. And he's talking about Nicaragua with Ortega. Okay, and as the election became clearer that Biden said he'll use all economic and diplomatic tools at his disposal to hold accountable the Ortega government. Okay, and in case you don't speak State Department, I will translate. The U.S. is going to starve the Nicaraguan people through sanctions because they elected a government that did not bow down to their global dictatorship. This guy. This is why I'm so happy to have this guy part of our family. He drops bombs. All right. Yep. So much that needs to be said about the imperialist assault on Nicaragua, but this piece, I'll focus on one specific aspect: social media censorship, and tie it in with a larger issue of social media being used as a tool of imperialism. All right. He's talking about Ben Norton, who I think we covered. Did we cover this last week about the Nicaraguans? Maybe. I don't know, but 1,300.
Shout out to Convo. Fam over there is doing good work over in Nicaragua. Love them.
I think they're back now, but they observed the elections, as did Caleb Maupin. Our friends over at Costa News, Camila Escalante was there. I saw with Fiorella and Pasta, Johnny, Caleb Maupin, and others to observe internationally from an uncorrupted perspective. So Ben Norton, but did report that Facebook and Instagram had banned 1,300 accounts. Oh, Jimmy Dore covered this story. Okay. Yeah. Oh, look, Camila Escalante reported that a Canadian physician named Timothy Bood, who was observing the Nicaraguan election, was banned from Facebook for 3 days from posting something critical of U.S. involvement in Nicaragua. Okay. I reported on Twitter that Camila, who was involved in doing on-the-ground reporting for Costa News, had her account flagged on Twitter for potentially sensitive content. Twitter is acting as an arm of empire. Okay. See, one of the things that I love about The Dissident is that he knows who the best of the best are. Camilla. He talked about Alan McLeod, found that Ben Nimmo and Luis Fernando Alonso, the two people behind the report that claimed the banned accounts were bots, had ties to military intelligence. Coinky-dink.
Coinky-dink.
All right. See, Darlene doesn't watch Jimmy Dore, and some people don't. So if you didn't watch Jimmy Dore, you probably did not learn about this. But Ben Nimmo, working as a NATO press officer and working for a UK-funded imperialist propaganda operation called Statecraft, and he's also senior fellow at the pro-war think tank, the Atlantic Council. Right, and he gets into the Atlantic. This guy's so good. Right? You got to follow him on Twitter. Leftists _news 12.
Copy your link and you can put it in Restream chat.
Yeah, let me drop that in for him. I didn't even put the look at that link to the YouTube stream. I never tweeted it out. Come on in. No, I never tweeted it. Oh boy. Okay. Now let's find The Dissident's new Twitter while everybody reads the leftist news. It's leftist _news 12, comma, copy, paste, get that in there. There you go. Everybody check that out and go give them a follow. Facebook's not turned on? In the chat, at least. I wonder if we're not streaming the Facebook for some reason. Anyway, in 2018, Facebook partnered with the Atlantic Council to counter emerging threats and disinformation campaigns. So basically, this guy has been on the forefront of Facebook censorship for years. A look at the Atlantic Council's funding finds that they're funded by big corporations, multi-billion-dollar multinationals, but also NATO, the U.S. State Department, and the UAE, to name a few. Truly absurd to think that a think tank funded by banks, oil companies, arms manufacturers, NATO governments, and Gulf dictatorships is supposed to be an objective source on foreign policy.
Yep.
And after this partnership, Facebook censored left-wing Venezuela media such as Telesur and Venezuela Analysis when the Trump administration was backing a coup and placing brutal sanctions on the country. Nicaragua censorship is very much a repeat of this. Guys, you elected Blue Trump. You elected Blue Trump. You elected Blue Trump in so many ways. That was Nick today on the General Strike Summit, and it was so powerful. Love those guys. All of them. Shout out to Fred Hampton leftists. Man, what they've been pulling off this weekend has just been remarkable.
Good for them.
So
happy.
Again, for example, Twitter labels RT, Sputnik, CGTN, and Press TV as state-affiliated media, but not BBC, NPR, Voice of America. Another great example is Twitter flagging or banning content because of evidence-free State Department claim it was quote-unquote Russian disinformation. It is evidence-free. The Dissident's so good, man. Everybody give him a follow.
Yeah.
And go sign up for his Substack. It's free. The 307.substack.com, which you will also be able to find, by the way, by signing up at indienewsnetwork.substack.com.
Substack.
So
as well as all of our other lovely writers.
Absolutely. So Tara's going to co-publish there. Kobe co-published today. We also are going to publish out some original ones. Like I've been publishing some articles about meeting a little bit more about each of the individual members of the network with all the links to their properties and channels so you can find them everywhere. I put one out on Lucy so far and on Robert Durden and on Be the Change. Lucy is Blue Moon Red Wine. So we've got to get one done for Reef and for Colin and everybody else and working on those. But we'll get those out to everybody. But here's a Mate tweet where Twitter adds a warning that these materials may have been obtained through hacking. So that's another site. Double standard, because as a journalist, Aaron Mate pointed out stories using leaks from Iran and China that were most likely hacked, but didn't get that same treatment. But because it questions Bellingcat, Aaron Mate. Aaron Mate. They said Aaron Mate yelled at me.
Yelled at me? No, not Aaron Mate.
Oh, Aaron Mate. Some of the other great dissident articles: The Death of the Left in America, Breaking Points pushes pro-war propaganda funded by the military-industrial. That's also a really important article. You should totally read about how Sager and Marshall are really pushing pro-industrial, military-industrial complex. This is the article that got everything going, but it happened on
Twitter. Yep. Haas being, like terrible again. He hates anyone doing anything.
Oh, it wasn't even. No, Tara retweeted this, and he decided to subtweet Tara.
But he was already tweeting about the summit anyway. Already,
So, look at that. We've already had 4 articles published since this, which did go crazy viral.
Nice.
The professional left attacks activists again. This was featured actually on Fred Hampton Leftists on their Fred Hampton Left Monday roundtable, I believe, this week, or the roundtable prior to the summit.
Yeah.
Okay, and Eoin Higgins.
Eoin, yep, old Eoin.
Owen Higgins, whatever he wants to call himself.
He's spelling it wrong.
And Owen Higgins has a massive issue with Jimmy, Nico, and Fiorello, but has no issue with writing articles for pro-war and pro-capitalist mainstream media outlets like Business Insider and The Atlantic. Business Insider owned by Axel, whatever his name is, also not a cool guy, Calls him, okay. Many people in journalism who want to be part of the mainstream media club. But then, this is punching down. Perfect example of who Hedges is talking about. Hassan has a net worth of $3 million. I don't know if he really does. That's some stupid website that'll nail buzz. I don't know if I really would call them a source. But other stuff talked about how just from Amazon alone, from Twitch, he's getting $200,000 a month from the leak. We know this from a couple months ago. All right. And he talks about what he does. And then, okay, the word grifter gets thrown around a lot these days. But people like Higgins and Piker are truly grifters. Again, strong take. They attack those who actually threaten power to advance their own careers. Higgins wants so desperately to be accepted by the mainstream media, he will mock those outsiders as of it as unserious. Hassan will attack activists with no power, but won't say a word critical of AOC because he built his career off her. And why wouldn't he have a Feeney on? Maybe he will. Maybe after Nick challenged him today, he'll actually have a Feeney on. Because it's not about, quote unquote, Nick's clicks and Nick's clout and Nick's whatever. It's not about Nick and it's not about Fred Hampton leftists. It's about a general strike summit.
General strike.
And yes, Hassan, we know that people are going to get arrested. We're going to have a solidarity fund to be able to take care of that. We're going to have a legal defense fund. We're going to have lawyers at the standby and at the ready. Nationwide, that's what we're going to require. Yes, this is what a summit was going to talk about and what it's been talking about. All right. Ask yourself these questions. If supporting the General Strike Summit would advance the career of Piker or Higgins, would they support it? Well, of course, we would hope, but they'd rather just crap on it. But Dissident, Leftist News 12, give them a follow. Again, there's the how social media is used as a tool of empire, published on the Indie News Network.substack.com, which you can follow. You get the Dissident, Tara Reid, Indie News, Indie Left News, Kobe, the Pro Peace Report, Elias Cepeda's Deconstructing Consent will be co-published here as well. And Robert Durden said he's going to do some writing, I think. So definitely sign up for the Substack. Normally, when we went live, if we didn't have technical glitches, I would have put out a Substack with this stream embedded for How Did We Miss That, so that everyone subscribed would be able to get to it from there too.
Well, you better get hip to Indie Left. Indie Left. indieleft.news.